It's literally been the longest freaking time, but guess what? I'm back. Hi guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. My name is Josh, and I have a lot to tell you guys today. So firstly, if you can't tell, I sound really sick. I swear to God, if I see or hear a coronavirus joke one more time, just no. Secondly, should I tell them? Oh my God, should I tell them? Should I tell them? Oh my God. I have merch! It's almost there. Don't get your hopes up just yet. I'm still trying to design everything, I'm still trying to put stuff up. But yes, I have merch. My Teespring will soon be linked soon. I don't know when though, because I'm really busy. Thirdly, got the new do, like, listen. I'm not gonna say I'm feeling myself, but I'm kind of feeling myself. Cat, oh my God. Hi, my cat's bothering me right now. Ugh, come here. Hello, so this is Sam. He's the old boy for like 5 years. He's 8 now. Oh, yeah, there he goes. Okay. Today is gonna be the first episode of our Workaholics video. Wait, Workaholics? No. Plantaholics. So today, I'm gonna really just go over... Are you okay? Jesus. So, first I'm gonna explain how I'm gonna make, like, this whole thing set up. So I'm gonna start it off by saying, you know, I call it a book. And, you know, a book's gonna have different things. Let's just say succulent or orchids or something like that. And then the book is gonna include chapters. And those chapters are going to be the different kinds, like the different species, and of course maybe, I'll explain a little bit of cultivar and stuff like that. But it's mostly just going to be about general care in the book, and then I'm going to go into the species, how they grow, how they are in my neck of the woods, and, you know, just simple things like that. So hopefully that isn't too boring, and I'm pretty sure I have like a story for each and every plant that I have, so I'll make it interesting. So yes, today, book 1. Succulents. Maybe / cacti, I don't know. I mean, they're basically the same, not gonna lie. They take the same care. Also, I'm gonna be roasting a lot of my plants too, so yeah. So, succulents. Now, let's be honest, they're probably the most overrated plant that we have on the market. Let's be honest, there's so many that are technically out there. However, maybe about 80% that we have is just the stuff you get from Home Depot, and honestly, I don't like that. A majority of my collection is made up of succulents. Yeah, just about like 70% of my collection. And, you know, I try my hardest to get a whole wide range of selection. I try not to get a whole bunch of box store stuff, but, you know, sometimes we find the good things. Like, this dude, for example. I mean, it looks spiky, and it is spiky. I've just about stabbed my hand a good couple times trying to grab it, trying to lift it up to water it. But, you know, and, you know, we get... Okay. It has flowers, and they're cool. And they're really pretty, and I like them, and they're small, and yeah. Yeah, so in terms of care, the things I'm going to cover are basically light, watering, fertilizers, where they grow, how they grow, you know, stuff like that, really cute things. For the grand scheme of things, succulents grow usually in pretty arid conditions, somewhat, but there's a very large range of types of succulents. So you might have succulents that maybe chill in the desert, like these dudes, like Haworthias. They kind of chill with very well-draining soil and high light. But then you also have some, like, it's not a Thanksgiving cactus. It might be one. I don't know. I haven't seen the flowers yet. I can't ID it. But these dudes are like, you know, epiphytic type cactuses who live in the jungles, and they like water, which is really confusing for a lot of us growers. And then you have succulents that literally just hate water and hate everything about you and will die if you look at it. I have one of those plants. I'm surprised it hasn't died yet. I've had it for a good 7 months. And, you know, depending on what type of succulent you get, you have to like do a lot of research yourself. But for the overall general care, let's just go in order. So, light. Most succulents will enjoy a lot of bright light, not direct sun, because direct sun will probably burn the leaves, but again, it depends. A lot of the succulents that I have are definitely okay being on the windowsill where there's southern facing light, which is the perfect light for succulents. Make sure to have a southern facing window. If you don't, I think you'll be okay, but like, Probably not. So a southern facing window is pretty good. Maybe an eastern, because I think that's where the sun comes up. Yeah, I think so. And an eastern facing window is pretty good. If you have grow lights are actually pretty good for plants as well. I do have one in a little box, like somewhere over there. I'll show you later. Probably not. So in terms of growing, when your succulent has enough light, it'll either change certain colors sometimes, or the growth will be very compact. And that's kind of what you want in a succulent. You don't want it to be really stretched. You don't want it to look really like tall and leggy, because that's really bad. Cat. Give it enough light and it'll really appreciate it. Second, watering. Contrary to popular belief, your succulents actually do need water. I don't understand why people keep saying, what are you succulent once a month? Why are you succulent every year? No.
You are going to jail!
Water it regularly. No one ever follows anything that we say, right? No one listens to us.
What's not clicking? What's not clicking?
See, he agrees. Personally, I water my succulents every 2 weeks now, since, you know, it's the winter. They don't generally get a lot of water during the winter because they're sort of dormant. So when they go dormant in the winter, then you don't necessarily have to water as much, but you still have to water. A good rule of thumb to check if your succulent needs water is to check the leaves. If your leaves are soft or a little bit wrinkled, that means your succulent needs a little bit more water. If they're plump and they're firm and you don't really feel any nudging, then they're pretty good and you don't need to water them. And that's what I follow. During the spring months, that's actually when succulents will go into active growth. So during those months, you're going to have to water a little bit more often. So I water them maybe about once a week in the spring and once a week in the fall when it's still warm. Now, some succulents will in fact do a summer dormancy. Now, this is a very weird topic because of course not a lot of people know about that. Neither do I, honestly. I don't know why you're taking advice from me. They will go into a summer dormancy when the temperatures are too high. So let's just say that I kept my heater on and it's about 100 degrees in here, which has happened before. They kind of just get scared and kind of just fall asleep again. So keeping it relatively warm, like house temperature or a little bit above house temperature, is perfect, and they'll do pretty well. Now we're on the topic of fertilizer. Now, that's a really different subject too, because of course succulents don't necessarily need all that much fertilizer. However, that is somewhat false. Generally, you're going to want to fertilize during the growing seasons, which is good for any plant, to be honest. And when you fertilize them, you don't want to fertilize too heavily because of course that can cause some problems with the roots, maybe some leaf issues. But you want to give maybe about like half strength to what your fertilizer is. Now personally, I use slow release fertilizer, so I don't have to worry as much. I generally just sprinkle a couple pellets and then they're usually fine throughout the growing seasons. If you don't fertilize your succulents, they don't really care that much because they're not really heavy feeders, so I think you're okay. Just as long as you provide maybe a little bit once in a while, like let's just say you fertilize half strength maybe every couple weeks, they should be okay. Now, flowering. Flowering is fickle. So let's just say you have these dudes right here, which is the Christmas cactus type dude that I showed earlier. These guys, depending on how big they get, or quote unquote their age, they tend to flower. These guys are basically in the same family. This dude, because I've had it for the last like 5 years, flowers for me every year. This dude I just got this year, last year, 2019, weird year. It's probably not old enough to bloom yet, but I'm waiting for the season to kind of change a little bit so that it gets warm to see if it will bloom during the spring and summer months. If not, it'll probably bloom anywhere between the fall and winter months like this guy will do. And this guy has amazing flowers. They don't smell, I wish they did, but they're really nice and vibrant and they're really cute, I like them. This one I think is the... What did she say this was? Oh my god. I think this one's supposed to be red or orange. I don't know. Oh, what do you want? Not on the table, not on the table. No, not on the table, not the camera. Go away. No, cat, stop. No. Go over there. Thank you. Don't bother me. And it also depends on the species. So there's a lot of factors that I don't want to get into right now because I'm really tired and I want to take a nap. So we'll cover that in a different video. But for now, it's general care. Let's get back to that. And I think finally, soil, because that's going to be a hot button topic too, because of course that's something that is very, very serious when it comes to succulents, and probably the main cause of death for a lot of them. So when it comes to your soil, it has to be very well draining, but also has to hold a little bit of water into it. Now, I'll make a separate video about my mixes that I make, because they're also very specific to the types of plants that I have, because I have many different types of plants. So I'll make a separate video for that. But generally, your mix has to be gritty enough that it flows water very nicely, but also enough that it holds some water so that your succulent can slurp it all up and get a healthy drink. A good rule of thumb to follow with that one is, you know, if you're mixing up your soil, if you take some soil while it's kind of damp, maybe a little bit wet, you squeeze out some water, and if you open your hand and it crumbles, that's a pretty good indication that you have a lot of drainage, and that's pretty good. Now, if you hold it together and it sticks together like a little turd, then add some more stuff to it, like perlite or little rocks or something like that. You know, it's all about preference. Personally, I like my mixes to be a little bit well draining, but only because some of my plants are in plastic pots, and the more well draining it is in plastic, the less water it holds so that it doesn't cause any rot issues or anything like that. Clay pots will get rid of a lot of moisture from your water, from watering, and you generally have to water them a little bit more often. It all depends on what you're using. I personally like clay pots for succulents and cacti, of course, because, you know, you water it and it takes out some extra water so you don't have to worry about it rotting on you. I've had that issue before. It was not fun. I lost maybe like 2 plants. It's a terrible funeral. No one showed up. But yeah, I think that generally covers succulent care. I'm not gonna lie. Like, they're pretty easy to take care of as long as you give them good light, know when to water, and just watch out for pests. They're fine. Like, they're generally really hardy plants. Like, some of my plants, I don't think I've like looked at for a long time, and they're surviving. I'm not gonna say thriving, they're just surviving. That's about it, actually. Wow, that's interesting. I didn't think that I'd actually like get through a video that easily. I should do this more often. Yeah, so if you guys like this little book intro, I guess, I don't know what to call it anymore, leave a like. It really helps and supports me, and it's an amazing, you know, indicator that you guys like my content, and it'll, you know, motivate me to make more. So thanks for that if you do end up liking. Also subscribe to my channel. I don't know if I'm gonna make this on a separate channel. I might, I may not, I don't know. But I think having it on my main channel for now is like, you know, it gives me a good incentive. And yeah, so with that, I guess I'm letting you guys go. Bye, I guess. Also, yes, look for merch. Merch is coming soon. Please look for it, and if you don't, I will find you, I guess. Bye.
And I